Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up in their names, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Today we're going to talk about the great state of Florida. And I'm not just going to talk about the good stuff that they're doing. We're also going to dive into some of the cons of Florida as well, because not every state is pretty, right? But I do want to start on a good high note with Governor DeSantis and what he's trying to do for the great state of Florida. He is trying to eliminate all property taxes. In fact, he stated, we don't pay for groceries after we purchase them from the store. We pay our sales tax and the grocery is ours. We eat it and that is it. But when it comes to our properties, we pay for it. We got the mortgage, we got the down payment, we pay for it, even if it's free and clear. And then we pay property taxes on a property that we already own. So we really don't really own it, is his take. I absolutely agree. I think that is logical and obviously it's the truth, right? If you have to pay taxes on a property that should be yours, that you bought free and clear, why are you still paying for it? Why are you still paying for something that you own to somebody else who doesn't own it? Because obviously you don't own it, right? It's not yours to own. If you're still paying property taxes on your property, you don't truly own it. And ownership of that property is up for debate, right? Like, because at the end of the day, you're still paying for something that you should own outright. I don't pay for my laptop more than once. I don't pay for my pillow more than once. I don't pay for my food more than once. But we pay for our property every quarter, every half a year, every year, right? Depending on how your state is set up. And so Governor DeSantis wants to eliminate property taxes because why are you paying for your property? I mean, that's simple enough to me, right? And that would lower the cost of mortgages and mortgage payments, I should say. Property prices might go up even more to account for that, but it's going to lower the price of the mortgage payment, at least in the short term, and definitely for those who already own properties who are paying on the mortgage. So with that being said, eliminating property taxes would allow people to truly actually own their home. And that is something, I think that there's a cat at the door or something. Oh no, that's a butterfly, never mind. But that was throwing me off for a second. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the downfalls of Florida. Florida has a lot of hurricanes, a lot of natural disasters. And although they do prepare for them, it is still something that is causing higher insurance rates. Florida and California are experiencing some of the highest insurance rates due to the natural disasters that occur. California, more than any other state, with their wildfires and their non-preventative measures, are definitely being hit the hardest. Another thing about Florida is that although it is very nice almost all year round, there is still a lot of things, especially with the DEI initiatives that have been taken away, that a lot of the black community cannot align with, saying that it was good to be slaves. I believe Governor DeSantis said that was, in my opinion, an out-of-line statement. Should have never been said. And, you have teachers trying to fight back because they want to be able to tell us the history and not have it skewed by the new governor of Florida. And I saw that as a huge blow. I saw that as a deterrent for black people. I saw that as wanting to move black people out of that state, out of those communities, because they no longer wanted a black presence in their neighborhoods. So by saying that it was okay to have slaves, you're essentially saying you don't want black people in your neighborhoods. That's how I took it. And you give them exactly what they want. And honestly, maybe you should, because you're paying to live in a place where you're maybe not wanted, right? And so that was a huge thing for me, a huge red flag for me. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the education requirement to be a teacher. I believe all you need is an associate's degree to be a teacher in Florida. And so with that being said, it's obviously easier to be a teacher in Florida, but what are you really teaching kids? Are you teaching kids that it's okay to not go to college? Are you teaching kids that it's okay to maybe get a trade? What can you teach kids when you're still a kid yourself, when you haven't truly even experienced life to any degree? You didn't even finish school, but you're teaching school. To me, that makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I believe that teachers should be paid more, but I believe that they should have an education that backs that up, which means that that backs that up, unfortunately, for most. In fact, I believe that teachers should go to college at a decreased tuition cost so that they're not paying debt for the rest of their lives. And that's for all the work that they do for these kids, for these tens of thousands of kids that will go through not only the school system but throughout life. I believe that they deserve that. They're public servants, and they should be treated with some dignity and respect. But hey, that's just my take. Back to Florida. I do agree that property taxes should be eliminated, but how do you make up for the cost of, the state funding, state initiatives, things? How are they making up for that if they were to eliminate property taxes, right? Maybe they start by lowering it until there's no need for it, because Florida has been able to run at a profit, whereas a lot of states run at a deficit. Like California runs at a deficit. They need to constantly borrow money, just like someone I don't know, the U.S. government. But for Florida, they run at a profit, and more states need to start to look into what they're doing in order to run at a profit. Obviously, you can't have the weather that Florida has. You can't have the famous people and the attractions that Florida provides. You're not going to bring Disney to your neighborhood, but you can do other things in order to be profitable. And you can start to look at what Florida is doing as an example of how to at least make some money, right? And so if we're using that as a model and as a standard, I believe that a lot of states will be able to go to a no property tax model. And that is going to be life-changing, because people can actually own their homes. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I post on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify for podcasters. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.